Yes, my name is Michael Morton, and I had applied for Medicaid on behalf of my father, William Morton. I had not tried applying for Medicaid myself, but I had done enough research to know that it was going to be an uphill journey that I did not want to take. So I immediately started to look for other alternatives than trying to do it myself. Elder care resource planning made the application process so much easier than it would have been. What was great was they initially talked to me about what assets my father had, and I immediately saw that Medicaid was going to be the only option. And then when I learned that Medicaid was part of the spend down process, that it could be applied to that, to me, it was a no-brainer. So immediately they talked to me about what assets he had and what his financial positions and situations were. And I think the most helpful thing was just a checklist of here are all the things that elder care resource planning said that they needed, and to get the application through with Medicaid. So it just allowed me to focus on what they were asking for and not have to play a bunch of guessing games. I think the things that I liked most about the services were the excellent customer service. Every question that I asked was immediately answered, and the communication with my representative could not have been better. The questions coming to me were extremely clear. The questions that I asked would be immediately answered, and this checklist that they provided of the things that they needed just really allowed me to focus on those things, not play guessing games. And it just made the whole process so I don't want to say enjoyable, because it's not an enjoyable process, but it just took a lot of stress off of me. And then when the application was submitted, there were some issues at the state level that had nothing to do with my application. And it was fantastic that elder care resource planning was able to have those conversations with the state and assure me that everything was going to be okay, because our application, just after a couple of follow-up questions, was immediately accepted. Yeah, our situation right now is great. Everything was taken care of. Like I had said earlier, when I found out that the services that you would pay for elder care resource planning were part of the spend down, to me it was a no-brainer, because I knew that money could go towards making sure that he was going to be safe and comfortable where I wanted him to be, without putting financial stresses and pressures on either myself or my father. I've already recommended elder care resource planning services to a couple of people, but I would just tell them that, it's a company you can trust. That was the big thing for me at the beginning, because when you start researching this, you see there's a lot of companies out there that offer these services. And initially you think, who can I trust? Who can I work with? And all I can say is that it was top-notch professional from the beginning to the end. And it took a lot of stress off of me. And I can't recommend their services to any stronger degree. My advice would be, unless you want to tackle this yourself, let a company like Elder Resource Planning take care of this for you, because it took such a burden and stress off of me. When I started researching it, I saw the volumes of documents and materials that I was going to need to get an application approved. And I also read all the horror stories out there of people's applications getting rejected, and the stresses that they went through after that time, trying to figure out what they had done wrong or what was needed to get the application approved. And none of that was ever a concern with me. It was accepted the first time through, and I can't thank Elder Care Resource Planning more for the service and help that they provided both me and my father.